Hi everybody, my name is Clint Heffern and this is my AEP 803 Module 1 presentation on me and action research. So first off, a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Iola, Kansas. That's where I was born and raised. I went to high school in Iola, and that's where a lot of my family is still at today. And then after high school, I went to Allen Community College, which is in Iola as well. I played baseball and basketball there for 2 years, and graduated from the JUCO there, and then went on to Pittsburgh State University. Graduated with my bachelor's from Pittsburgh State, and I am now working on my master's through Fort Hays, all online. So after I graduated from Pitt State with my undergrad, I stayed in Pittsburgh, Kansas, got my first job at St. Mary's Colgan. I was teaching social studies. I had one PE class, and that's what I've done for the past 3 years. I also, this past year, was the junior high athletic director and assistant high school athletic director. So learned a little bit about the administrative side and just everything that encompasses. As well, I helped coach football, basketball, and baseball, and then helped run the summer weights program too. Really enjoyed that stuff. And that's kind of led to this year and kind of my new job, my new role. So I accepted a new position this coming year at Fort Scott High School in Fort Scott, Kansas, to be the social studies teacher. I'll have one PE class as well. And then I accepted the head basketball coaching position. So kind of always been a dream of mine. Very excited for this opportunity. But yeah, learning a lot about the new school now, and really excited, like I said, to get going. So getting into the information, action research. And this was a new term to me, but I found this unit to be very informative. What is action research? It's critical, collaborative, self-reflective, gaining of knowledge to bring about some change or some understanding or a better way of doing things. And so a lot of times this is mainly through a group of people or making a group of people more informed, including myself. But bullet point number 2 here, collecting data to diagnose problems or search for solutions or different ways of doing things, and then trying to take on promising possibilities or change things, and then monitor how well that change has done. It adopts a position that the world and situations and viewpoints can be seen from many different perspectives. So try and understand the differences in perspectives in order to be most effective overall. So the purpose of action research is basically to allow teachers, people to analyze something, analyze data, experiment with it, and then reflect on how it's going and if there's a better way. So it's the purpose of action research is to see if we're doing things the best way possible. See if there's a better way to do things, and if there is, then let's try it out. So 4 main types. I found a couple different things here, but there's technical action research. There's mutual collaborative, enhancement approaches, and then participatory action research. So a couple different approaches to that, dealing with different things. And here's another kind of component I found with that is action research, kind of different types or different components. Empowerment of participants, collaboration through participation, acquisition of knowledge, and social change. So kind of some different types. But yeah, the goal of action research, a lot like the purpose, it's to evaluate things so that we can improve, so that we can enhance student achievement and improve educational practices. And so main steps to do that, main steps for action research, collect data, search for solutions, take on possibilities, and then monitor how those actions have done. Or another main steps for action research, we're going to plan and kind of gain some knowledge or inquire some things, and then we're going to look into it, learn more. We're going to design and create maybe an experiment, and then we're going to actually do that experiment, take action. We're going to collect data, that type of thing. Then we will analyze that data, reflect on that data, and come to a conclusion, and maybe that's making a change here or sticking with what we have, but it's kind of wrapping it all up together. What's the difference between action research and traditional research? It allows those that find results to feel like they are making an informed decision rather than simply following orders or demands from someone else. It's someone actually doing or performing some research to find out what works best for them. And so it can look like a multitude of different things, and some which aren't seen as traditional research types. So sometimes that might seem unreliable, as it's not a norm or not common to do things in that way, but it can look like a various or a multitude of different things, which is why it could be different than traditional research. There are common problems associated with action research. As a lot of the resources pointed out, it can be so it can vary so much and look like so many different things. But also, as the world and as education is constantly changing, action research might need to be performed over and over again. So constant change in an ever-changing world, especially with education, is we might think we do research this year and we've got stuff figured out, but in 3 years we've got new technology, new resources for the students. So we need to continually do these things, which can be time-consuming. And then the last point here, which I mentioned above, is it can look like so many different things. People might say, oh, that's unreliable because that you just conducted that research and it doesn't look like traditional research. So maybe people see some of this as unreliable. How could action research help improve your teaching? So collaborating, collecting data, and self-reflecting on my own teaching would allow me to see what works and what does not work. So a really good just reflective learning and assessing what I've done and what's working, and just to allow me to self-reflect on what really does and does not work. And it could show me where I need to implement change, maybe in lesson planning or classroom management, or maybe I conduct some action research and I just don't have my curriculum organized the way I should. And maybe if I switch this unit and this, it can help kind of streamline and flow the units together more smoothly. Even class rigor. So it can just show me maybe it's a classroom management issue, maybe it's a rigor issue. So it can allow me to analyze several different aspects at once. And how can it improve teaching? First, a lot of people say, why are you in education, or why are we in education? And it should all be focused on the kids, and we're trying to give the kids the best education possible. We're trying to impact their lives and set them up for future success. So action research allows us to do that. It allows us to see what's working for the kids, to give the kids the best chance possible. I think you'll see that at the heart of education throughout the country and the states and the local units. And so this action research allows us to do that. What is actually working? What is actually the best for the kids? What does the research say about the success of action research and its impact on student learning? It says that action research empowers participants. So it empowers students. It empowers student learning because we see what works for them, and then we say, we want to do what works for you, so we're going to do this, what works for you. So it empowers students. It lets them know, hey, they have a voice, we are listening to them, and we want to work together. So it empowers participants, and then therefore kind of encourages collaborating, continued collaboration. And then what's its impact on teacher performance? It enhances student achievement because it improves educational practices. So it makes teachers better, and again, getting into we listen to what the students want or what the students work best for them, and so it's where teachers are collaborating with students to see what works best, so it can be a unified, we're working together in this. Have I done this in my schools? We kind of did a little bit of this last year in my old school with analyzing what works for the kids. So we would give them some short questionnaires. What worked well with this unit? What was your favorite part of this unit? What was your least favorite part of this unit? To allow them to kind of reflect on what we did and what they liked and what they'd like to see more of and what worked for them, which then gave the teachers some information and some data to analyze and see maybe how they could change or alter some stuff in the future to be most effective. So how does it support the educational success and well-being of each student? So component 1.2, lead improvement processes that include data use, design, implementation, and evaluation. So action research is also all about collecting data and then monitoring that data, so implementing that data. 4.1, evaluate, develop, and implement high-quality technology-rich programs. Action research on A here analyzes what technology works, maybe where we could use more technology to see what methods work. 4.2, high-quality, equitable, academic and non-academic instructional practices, resources, technologies, and service that support digital literacy in school's academic plan. We're empowering students and the staff to use that technology, become digital literate, and to use the best practices possible. Maybe that is with this technology, maybe it's not as much technology as we think, but using data to drive practices. 4.3, evaluate, develop, implement formal and informal assessments by data-informed and instructional improvement. Again, kind of going up with that, we're using data, we're collecting data to analyze, hey, what works, and then to use the data to base what we're doing in the future. So, yeah. And then 4.4, evaluate, develop, implements curriculum, instruction, technology, and we're doing this collaborative, in a collaborative setting. Data or action research does that and encourages collaboration. It encourages self-reflection to empower the students to collaborate with the teacher so that the teacher can see what works best. It just encourages communication and collaboration to see what works best for all. Standards, standard correlation. This was great. As I just mentioned, all those standards. It shows me in education what I can do to improve. So today and going into the future, what can I do to improve and be the best teacher that I can be? This requires collecting data, analyzing information, monitoring methods, and the standards are all aimed at improving instruction and relationships and methods, and that's what action research does, is it improves instruction for an overall to improve education. So it aids in that process, and this module was informative in that. It's relevant to me because I'm in education, so I can apply this to my life or to my classes and say, hey, what works? Let's experiment with some things and then collect data to see how those are working. So I need to constantly be self-reflective to see what works best. Reflecting on this, it gave me a different perspective on kind of how I can conduct research to gain information. We always teach about differentiation in classrooms, and I try to tell my students about seeing things in different perspectives. And so, especially from a historical perspective, because I'm a social studies teacher, so this can be applicable to research like I learned from this unit. So it can look like a lot of different things, but I need to be open-minded to see things and see different methods and instructional practices that I can incorporate into my classroom if the data shows that works best. So very informative. Here are my standards. Thank you guys for listening. I'm excited to work with you in this class.